I want to go a little bit darker in some of my trees back here. I want them to stand out a little bit more. And then I'll probably do a little bit of white in this tree over here. But before I do that, I want to show you an option on something you can do so that you don't have to necessarily go at it with white. I'm going to show you a couple of things as an option you could do rather than just use white paint. But we're going to do a little bit of work on their background. All I'm doing is kind of going in and darkening up a little bit. And all I'm doing is going over this with some ultramarine blue, adding a little bit more blue to it. Making minor adjustments. Probably need some paper towels. Hopefully in this video my head is not in the middle of it the whole time. If my head gets in the way, y'all gotta tell me. Don't let me paint for 2 hours with my head in the way.
We're watching the painting. We're not going to see your head in the way.
Yeah, this is okay. Oh, I like that.
So I'm just going in and layering in some blue.
Now, is it wet or is it dry?
Paper's dry.
The painting's dry. I'm painting.
Okay, so you're doing dry on wet now.
I am.
Okay.
I do mostly.
Wet on dry.
I do.
Dry.
Yeah, I do wet on dry.
You said dry on wet.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I do wet on dry probably 80% of the time.
That's just ultramarine blue, or do you have something mixed with it?
It's just ultramarine blue.
Really?
Wow.
This is and I've noticed a pretty big difference because this is M. Graham's ultramarine blue, and I have noticed that there has a pretty substantial difference between it and Daniel Smith's ultramarine blue.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interesting.
Some are way more granulating than others. Ultramarine.
Graham is a honey based.
M. Graham is honey based. You know, I started using M. Graham because of Mind to Watercolor, and it's his favorite paint,
Yeah.
and I like it. But to be honest, after painting with both Daniel Smith and M. Graham, I kind of lean towards Daniel Smith. I think.
Have you ever had any paintings stick together?
No, mm-mm. Because of the honey.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, I think the honey becomes imperceptible because if, for those of you who don't know, M. Graham uses honey as a assist to the binding agent. So you do have a little bit of, there is honey in the formula.
Snelly egg does the same thing.
They do?
Mm-hmm. It's honey based.
Yeah, I've used a couple of their colors. I like the ones that I've used.
Yeah, I love their paint.
It's kind of expensive. I don't know that I would use it for everyday painting. I like painting with my big silver black velvet. This is a 16 round silver black velvet.
Wow.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
14's on my list.
I like them. I like them both.
Yeah, I like them.
The only thing I don't like about the silver black is it just doesn't, the tip doesn't last as long as I want it to. Notice now I'm going back in and I'm putting in some more darks in certain areas. And these are getting dark, right? So who all's taking my next class?
I am.
Yes.
I'm still
When's
waiting to
the
hear
first
whether I
class?
got in or not.
The 6th. It's the 6th.
Not quite D-Day.
Nope.
I guess everybody realizes a month from today is Christmas.
It's hard to believe it's coming up. So my wife has decided that she's not waiting till after Christmas to start
Yeah, it's
celebrating,
been
or
all
after
over.
Thanksgiving,
Put it over here.
because it's so late. Thanksgiving's so late this year.
I know.
So she's decided it's time to start. So we've got Christmas music playing.
So
Go.
do we.
My whole house has been up since the
So
middle of
do we.
November. I don't care. It's up.
I got my tree up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do the tree. Historically, my birthday's on the 4th, so historically we go right after my birthday to get it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going in and putting in some of these, you know, these blues underneath these trees. Give it a little bit more of dimension.
Right.
And as I pull those blues in there, look what it does to my yellows. And that's going to be a very interesting part of the whole color lecture. Is we're going to show how you could take a color and you can completely change it by the colors you put around it.
That's what I knew you were going to do.
You just knew it, didn't
I
you?
just knew it.
So, now we're getting into the final phase where I'm adding the darks, and now you can really start seeing how the darks help give everything so much more dimension. Everything starts looking a lot more three-dimensional. I brought that down a little bit to help offset my snowman. And in a minute, I'm going to start taking out some of the masking material.
Oh, okay.
And that's when you'll really start seeing the highlights pop. I'm doing a little bit of scrubbing, picking up the edges, because if I don't, I'm going to have a really hard edge right here where my masking material meets the snowman. It'll still be harsh when I take it off. I'll have to do more scrubbing, but at least this will give me a little bit of a head start.
I'm sorry, say that again. What are you doing with that snowman? Because I'm gonna have the same thing.
I'm softening up some of the edges that touch where the masking material is on it,
Yeah?
so that when I pull the masking material off, I'm not going to have a gigantic,
Yeah.
huge hard line there.
Oh,
I will have a little bit less of a hard line.
I see.
So if you'll notice, I'm going in with some diagonal lines here, and in the painting over here, there's more of like a snow. So he's got this area over here on the right where you could see some snow melted and it's exposing some rocks, some of the grid. It's hard to tell exactly where the road goes. So right along this edge, I'm putting in a little bit darker blue, adding a little bit neutral tint to it, and that helps give me a berm of the snow. You know, a little bit of the rounding of the snow effect there. Got a little bit of backwash in there. I usually don't mind that too much, but all right. So now we're gonna come over here and we're gonna do this side. Start adding in some of the darkest darks over here. I've got a little underside of this wreath that is pretty dark. So I'm coming in and doing that. If you look here, I've got some highlight. There's like a little ball top to this thing. So I'm going to come in here, darken up my background a little bit to help offset it.
What are you doing to that? Tell me that again.
So if you look at the top of this thing, I'm going to do a little bit of taping off here in a minute and do a little lifting. But you see at the top of this thing, there's a little bit of a spike on top of it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do a little bit of work around that to try and help make it pop a little better. Put my yellows in.
Your blue is James blue, is that correct?
Well, no, I mean, I use ultramarine blue most of the time,
Right.
but I have got some, what do you call it, Endothrone blue in here, and
Jane's is Jane's gray.
yeah, I have Jane's Gray.
It looks bluer than the gray tint. What was the tint one you put on your prospectus?
So there's Jane's Gray and Payne's Gray. Both of them are kind of blue. Payne's Gray is probably a little bit bluer than Jane's Gray. Jane's Gray, as Davis taught us, is a combination of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, which is my two favorite colors mixtures.
I want it to be more blue.
But Davis, are you working or are you just watching today? I forgot what I was doing. tend to do that. Get my head in the way. So I'm going in pretty dark here,
You are?
right off the bat, because this is my foreground dark element,
Right.
and I want it to stand out. I want it to be establish this as in the foreground. I'm not really trying to do the snow on these. Not worried about it. But there is some snow on them. If I wanted to really put it in there, I could come in at the end and add a little bit of white. Kind of coming over here in this corner. It'll kind of help push the focus to the middle.
Right.
If the corners are a little bit darker, in this case. And you know, you can push and pull things up and back just by the values you put in around them.
Well, that becomes clear because you put that blue up front
Mhm.
and it lit up the middle where the
It'll-
yellow, it lit that right up.
It'll
And
it'll really
Yeah,
start pulling out your highlights when you have lowlights.
and then it got cold up front, like
Yeah.
the shadow becomes very clear and it feels cold up
Yeah.
front. I mean, that's really interesting.
Yep. That is exactly what will happen. he's got some negative over here in this corner, some negative painting with whites. I'm probably not going to put that in there. You know, I mean, I'm not going to try and copy every element. The other issue is, you know, his painting is bigger than mine. And if I try to squeeze in every element, it's going to start looking really forced. Now I'm putting in, if you know, if the snow had really melted here and the light was coming from the house, I would definitely have some shadows along this edge of where the snow's melted coming into the street. And so this is just, it's doing two things. It's setting up the perspective for me, and it's also giving me those. Remember, you have two types of shadows. What are they?
Cast and reflective.
Contour. Cast and contour shadows. So if I'm putting in these little shadows over here, what are they? What is this kind of shadow? This is a cast shadow. Because the light is coming from the house.
Oh, I see. It's going
And as I come in here and I put like some of these low lights in around these eaves and stuff, it helps make the highlights even more highlight, you know. And I'm not trying to pick up every detail he has in his. Again, his painting's bigger than mine. He's got a little more working room than I do. I just have to suggest it. All right, coming along. Areas where I have the most dark is going to be if they have a highlight on one side, they're going to have a low light on the other. Does that make sense?
Yep. That's a reflected shadow.
Mm-hmm. Just helps sell the turn a little bit.
still have a bead up there in this top left corner.
Yep. And I'll just leave it there because it'll dry, and it'll actually be kind of dark. I might lift it right at the end just so that it doesn't get too. I could probably go in there and get it now because I don't want it to get too heavy. I'm leaving this with some hard lines up there in the painting. In the referencers, there are no hard lines up there, but I'm kind of leaving that as a alluded to a snow-filled tree. You know. Now, we're going to come back in here and we're going to do some of the low lights over here. I'm just using neutral tint. And, you know, what y'all thought were my darks over here were really my lights over here.
Yeah.
Because now, as I go in and I put the low lights in, darks are actually going to become my snow. You see how that works?
Because they're in shadow?
They're in shadow.
Okay. And you're just using pure neutral tint?
Pure neutral tint. This is cream.
Oh my gosh, it's cream.
I'm painting with almost straight out of the tube. Very little water. Very little.
That's for your shadows.
These are the low lights on this side. So, like now, you see this. You see this? I just painted. Well, what was there has now become my light color, and it's my snow.
Oh, wow.
And even this right here, this here, is my snow. It's going to be my highlight.
That's on the tree trunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And look how much darker I've gone. And the more dark I go, what happens to my light?
It becomes brighter. Makes it glow.
Makes it glow. Make it glow. Now, same thing in my tree here is all this stuff up here is my snow. Not my darks. So instead of having to come in and use white paint or something else, I'm going to make this look like snow just because I can.
So now you're putting your darks on your leaves.
Yeah. And I don't need that much. I just need to give Somebody already packing up? You getting out of here? Is it already that time?
No, it's only 3 o'clock.
When I watch James Gurney do this, blows my mind every time. No matter how many times I've seen it. You know, when you come in and he's like, he paints something that looks really dark, and you're thinking, wow. And then later you find out that was his highlight. That's the highlight in there.
That's your neutral tint, straight out.
Yep. So is it looking like snow?
Oh, yeah.
It's beginning to look like Christmas.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I was gonna see if in the next class if you guys wanted to do a day where we brought in Christmas stuffed pastries and have a little Christmas themed
Sure.
lesson.
Why? Yeah. Love Christmas. Okay, so are you just going around, like, what? I'm not understanding that section, like what to do with that section. You're saying the lights you have down
Come look
there-
at the reference.
Yeah.
I'm painting the low lights in
Okay.
here, is all I'm doing. So this is, in a way, it's negative painting.
Okay.
But I am, by putting in the low lights, I'm making all of the grays and everything that's already out there look like snow. It looks like snow in the shadow. Once you get the darks in it, then my brain can go, whoa, wait a minute. I recognize that. That's what snow would look like in a shadow on a
Right.
tree.
Okay. Because it would not be white.
No.
I mean, it couldn't be white.
You understand what I'm saying? And one of the things about painting that you have to, especially in watercolor, because you have to think in reverse. I am going from light to dark, which means my painting's going to look like crap until the very end when I'm putting in my darkest darks. That's when all of a sudden it becomes a mature painting. Before then, it's just ugly teenage years. So it's a bad child all the way till it's 27. Which is what every one of mine did. Maybe that's why I like watercolor. I'm not going to do a whole lot more up there. Maybe just a little bit. But it does look as though this is my shadow area.
Yeah. It also reads like it's out front more. You
Yep.
know? I mean,
It pulled it front, pushed my house back, right? I'm just giving these a little bit, making them a little bit darker.
And do those darks you're putting in now have to be less dark than the ones you put in on the right-hand side?
Yes. These are my darkest darks. This is my shadow area, you know. These are shadow areas too, but they're further back. And really if I wanted to do this better, then I would be adding more blue and making it a little more blue tinged. And if you notice, you know, I don't think my painting's any better than any of y'all's. It's just, I think I have 2 more layers than what you have in a lot of cases. Okay. So now, I'm gonna let that dry for a minute. I'll come around and take a look if you are painting, come around. And then I'm gonna come back in and I'm gonna do a little bit of lifting. And I'm gonna show you how to get, I'm gonna also take my, I'll take my masking material off. And then we have to do some scrubbing. We're getting close. Masking material, you can mask something off after you've painted on it. So like right now,
Right.
I could go in here and I could lay in some masking material and then paint over it and then lift the masking material and it will retain what's there. And that thank you. So I like if you look at the reference here, I could have done that if I'd had thought about it a little bit earlier. In fact, it's a little too late. I don't want to try it now. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to take off all my masking material. And then I'll probably have to soften up some of the edges because they'll be too harsh. And then I'm going to show you the next step of what I would do to put in some highlights, right? So this is my snow. All of a sudden, it turns into a snowy scene. Look at that.
Did you save any in your tree there too?
Huh?
You saved a little in your tree.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And on the right side.
Over here?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean by saved it.
Saved your white paper.
I mean, just aside from snowflakes. No.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about softening up the snowflakes, but probably will have to go in and work a little bit on my snowman, right? It's not bad. What do you think?
It lightens it.
I got all that off. And I had some retaining right around my roof edge. And that, I don't even know that I need to lighten that up much. Or soften it up. I think it's pretty good. What do you think?
Looks good.
Now, I usually run my thumb or fingers over my painting really good because I'll find places where I forgot to, like I didn't get the, I put some on my handrails before I started painting the handrails.
Okay, what about the roof part that goes the right-hand side over there?
There's
That white
nothing more.
strip.
That's it.
Is that too white?
I'll probably
Up there,
lighten that. I can darken that up a little bit because yeah, it's a little.
But on your painting, it doesn't look, it looks worse in the, up there than it does.
Yeah, it doesn't look as bad on my painting as it does up there.
Yeah,
Looks pretty strong up there.
yep, like a snow worm.
Mm-hmm. I'll get rid of it. But every little bit helps, right? So then now that does look more like a snowy scene.
Yes.
Good.
Terry, you can use mine to demonstrate how to fix that place where I masked it.
Okay.
Show everybody what I'm talking about.
So she has, see, I keep taking that. She has this area here that she doesn't like. So it's where the highlight of the snow is.
Where I masked it.
I honestly don't think it's any worse than mine. I mean, I think it looks fine. But if you want, here's the next thing you can do to fix stuff. So what did I do with the, I just had it. I'm really bad about that. There it is. Who did I borrow this from?
Me.
Make sure you get it back.
I will.
All right, so first thing I want to do is get all the masking material off because there was a little bit of masking material still left on it. And you don't like that? You sure you don't like that?
Looks good.
I don't know that I would change that.
Really?
I think it's not bad. What do y'all think?
I like it.
I don't know that I would lose that.
Okay.
I kind of like it. The texture almost looks like snow hitting bark. You know? So I think I would just learn to love it.
All right, I can try.
I don't want to do anything else. All right,
He doesn't want to mess your painting up. Oh, that's not what I meant.
right.
After all these hours.
Let me show you how to do this. Whoops.
That's scary.
I love my dad to death, but my dad was one of those guys that did that every time. Well, let me show you how to do this, son. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh my goodness.
See, if you just take this and you do this right here. Oh, that's bad. I think I'm gonna go see what your mother's doing.
Okay, what are we doing? Are we gonna tape over everything now?
Not everything. We're gonna tape over a few things.
Really? After we tape,
Then
we're
we'll
taping?
wash.
Nope.
No?
Wow.
Who's got a magic eraser with him?
A magic eraser? Oh,
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean? Oh, here comes Karen with Mr. Clean.
What?
Between all of us, we got.
We got it, whatever you need, we've got it.
everything in my bag.
So I'm going to show you what you could do if you forget to mask something off, and how you can kind of retrieve something you might have lost.
I'm just
What do you
shocked.
think you've lost?
Yeah,
I haven't lost anything. I'm just going to demonstrate.
oh, he's doing
Really
his
good.
demo of
Sorry.
something.
Instant.
I would never have even thought to put the tape over the film once we're this far along.
That's why I want to show it to you.
Yeah, well, I'm dying to see it.
So this takes a little bit, so I'm going to come in here, get my X-Acto knife. If I remembered to bring my X-Acto
I
knife.
have that if you need it.
Yeah, I have one of those too.
Man, I'm bad. I'm going to demonstrate all kinds of stuff, and I didn't bring the supplies. There it is.
You got it.
I would, I've tried it, those little electric erasers.
Yeah.
I think it damages your paper too much. I would not recommend it.
So, because I use it on
Now,
the tops away.
I want to come in here, and I'm going to try and get some of this white back.
Oh.
So, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So, I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to just cut some interesting shapes. Now, if I wanted to, I could get a lot more detailed, and I could start doing like little holes,
Oh, you could do your snow again.
and I could get as detailed as I want to get. And of course my blade's nice and dull.
Kind of like when you did your boku with the little round and you rub it.
Now, the other thing you can do is, if you've never done this before, is you can create a template. You can cut a piece of I've done this with cardboard and just cut a template and then move it around.
Oh.
And so I'm just doing some even shapes.
What do you mean cut a template?
You know,
I
like-
mean, I could take a piece of something and
Tracing paper?
I wouldn't use tracing paper because this is going to get wet.
Right, you need something like,
I need something a little more durable than tracing paper.
Like painting tape.
Yeah, well, you could try painting tape, but you probably only get 1 or 2 uses out of it
right,
before it's not going to work
like a
anymore.
file folder which has a heavier
Yeah.
body to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
and you could cut a template in it, and then you could use it, you could move it around.
So,
And I've done that before.
Spray over it?
Yeah. And really what I'm trying to do here is get myself some edges.
Okay, so this technique you're showing us, this is for when we have to get something back.
Or it's just a different way of getting textures,
Okay, we're getting.
right, in a dark. So one of the hardest things to do in watercolor is to go light on dark.
Yes, yes.
This is one of your options.
Oh, okay.
This is I want to show you how
Yeah, I
to
wanna
get
see
some detailed
I'm
look.
still not comprehending it, how you're gonna get light on dark.
it. He's gonna
He's
take
gonna
that magic
erase.
sponge and he's
Oh,
gonna
the
erase
magic
that dark.
sponge.
That's why
Oh,
he's creating this template
I
right
got you,
now.
now I got you.
Yeah.
I couldn't follow.
So
I'm
what are
like,
you-
I
But
don't
the
get
tape
this.
is a protector.
What's
So you
guiding
end
you
up
thinking
making
about where
anything
you're
wet again.
cutting?
So he's gonna erase
My
it.
imagination.
Right there and see if I can't get my white back.
Okay, what are you imagining?
I'm imagining leaves. I want some white leaves. I want some, and to be honest with you,
This stuff here.
like I don't even need, and you're gonna see,
That's your.
I'm gonna lift some of this. I'm looking to get the edges. So this is all about edges. And so when I do this, I'm going to, you're gonna see where I've got the middle of it's just gonna come out
Getting that pretty little.
kind of white.
I'm just over your shoulder, I'm just looking.
That's fine.
Oh, okay.
And this isn't gonna take all that long.
Mm-hmm. It just blows my mind.
I could do it probably more if I was paying more close attention. I could get it to look a little bit more like his painting. But right now I'm just kind of doing my own leaf pattern.
So you're just lightening the leaves.
Mhm.
And you're cutting just the tape.
I'm just cutting the tape, yeah. Did y'all think y'all were gonna hate doing a Thomas Kinkade painting?
I don't know what I thought.
It was scary.
I knew it was gonna be hard.
I think I thought it would be fun to do the values going back like that. Because I don't know how to do that, so it was kind of fun to give it that
So,
softness.
just since this is the last class, and I don't get to read student reviews so much, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this so far? The class?
11.
Yeah, it was a 20.
I mean, is that because it's hard, or are you saying it's good?
No,
Are you learning?
You're teaching us.
We're actually
every class
learning
we learn
something.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
mean,
Yeah.
you gave us a challenge.
Good.
We were almost
Really,
It's not like you taught us how
Not
to
quite,
do
but
one
we-
painting.
Well, and the way you get better is by going out of your comfort zone and trying something new, trying something different.
Yeah, but you also have to know techniques, and you know, you can read all you want about them, but it's much easier to see somebody do something.
Mhm.
I mean, just like the day that you came around and saw all of us with our fiddly puddles, and you said, okay, enough. Everybody
Yeah.
put some paint and water, and we all didn't realize that we didn't have enough water and paint
I was,
going.
when I was doing the demo for the CBAA, I kind of made a joke out of that. I kind of feel bad now that I did that because I don't want to make you guys sound like you're
But-
less than you are, because you're not. It's just,
But
it
you
comes down
know-
to what you know, right? And you're right,
Exactly.
right.
Right. I
If
mean,
if you haven't never seen anybody do it, then you might think this is all there is, you know.
right.
I just make this little tiny puddle, get my small brush out, and go at it. But
I still haven't graduated to a bigger brush though.
Oh no, I've definitely made my way to the bigger, and I
A
like
big,
it.
big brush like this?
Yeah.
This, okay, so now I do these.
Uh-huh.
On this painting, I use this one,
Oh, wow.
and that's, to me, that's a mother load of a
I
brush.
don't think I graduated there yet.
Well, you know
That's
what?
wash brush.
It was
Terry,
kind
you
of
said
easy to use.
we should like daily do.
What?
Well, on washes or
Be
something, not on.
I just
exercises.
used it for a while.
No, but.
yeah, I mean, until you get comfortable with it, yeah.
And what other exercises
I
are
did.
there?
Get the big brush challenge. Get the do the apple.
I use it.
Get comfortable using a bigger brush, and don't. You know, guys, I will say that one of the things that makes me good, I think, was when I stopped worrying so much about ruining my painting and just went for it. And I firmly believe that, yeah, and sometimes I'm going to mess up a painting. There's no doubt about it. But I learned so much so fast, so much faster from, number one, have confidence. Don't be afraid to try something. If you're not comfortable trying it on the painting you're working on, get a piece of scratch paper out, try it on that. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to, you know, oh, I saw a guy do this, or I have an idea. I want to see if it works. And this whole tape cutting thing, I got this from John Salmonen. I watched him tape off a painting, and then I watched him go at really small details, and I'm like, holy crap, why haven't I been doing that? And really, truly, Now he uses a different technique and he uses a different knife. He recommends a different knife than I use, but the effect is the same. So I'm like, well, why aren't I doing that? And so, I think really truly, when you see an artist doing something unique and different and coming up with really cool effects, that artist built on something he or she saw or learned from somebody else and just applied it in a different way. I think that happens more often than not. And it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's stealing. I think it's the same in music, right? One artist hears something and they apply it, they take it out of a blues set and throw it into a rock song. Or they'll learn something out of a jazz song and throw it into a rock song or something. And that's how our music has evolved. That's how painting has evolved. So, I still say there's not a lot new in the universe. Nothing I'm showing you, nothing I've done is something that I developed on my own, and this is all something somebody else has done. So how many of y'all are going to take your Kinkade painting, put it in Fabulous Forgery?
Oh, that'll be too many of them.
All right.
I don't mind.
If I could make it look
You have
anywhere
your
decent,
decent,
it
so
would be
other
my
people,
Christmas
because
card.
most of them you can't have done in class with direct supervision.
Yeah, most
He could
places
probably enter his.
most places will not let you do it if you used an instructor helped you,
Yeah.
if it was a classroom project or something like that.
Well, there you go then.
Now you got to read the prospectus because some other places don't care, but most art shows will say something about it.
Yeah, if it's an exhibition, then it doesn't matter. Like this is an exhibition back here, it wasn't judged, so then usually they don't care. But most of the judge shows will say, can't have done it in a workshop or under the supervision of an instructor.
So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut this little finial in.
You have on the top of the light.
Yep.
Frisco just finial.
See, I knew that word worked.
Did I get in trouble for using finial?
No. It's an Elton thing, right?
Elton thing?
Elton.
Finnegan's Ring. All right. So, I mean, I could go in here if there was any other places where I wanted to get some lights back. I could do them.
You could do the tree branches then.
I could, but that's a lot of work, and I don't need any tree branches. My tree branches look like they've got snow on them now. So I'm not going to go in and try and.
I'm thinking I can.
You could, if you wanted to. I am going to do something here, though. Watch this. So you see, I've got this really hard line where my masking material was, and I'm going to show you a little trick to this. I could take a scrubbing brush and clean it up, but it'll go a lot faster if I just hit it with a little magic eraser. All right. So magic eraser, clean water. I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna get my tree back, get my whites back. And I don't want to go all the way to white paper. That'll be too light.
That is so cool. Then you could get your values however you want them.
Now I'm just coming in here and getting some of that white back. Now, again, I don't want to go all the way to white. I don't need to. I'm going to get my finial back on top of my light post. Look at that. Bam!
Wow.
And I'm going to get,
You are seriously rubbing that out.
I'm going to get a little bit of my light back on my snowman.
Oh my goodness.
That's it.
Magic of Mr. G.
Oh, holy cow.
Wow.
See the snow on the tree?
Does it look like I got it back?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so.
Let me move out of the way so people can see. That's just, but you really went at that.
Not hard. I really didn't.
Oh, it just came up that.
If I wanted it to go white, I could go all the way back to white.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But no, I didn't. I actually did. I just got it wet, scrubbed it just a bit. Magic eraser will lift. You don't have to.
Patience to.
But look at. So everybody tells me I don't have the patience to do that. But how long did I spend doing that?
Right.
Yeah.
I did it in class.
That may be my next thing.
Don't you?
So now you know. So get this. If I went all the way back to white, and I wanted to put in a highlight like a bright green, I could just
Right.
dab bright green right in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's guess how I did.
That on
Yeah.
Pagoda.
So
Yeah.
your leaves in that one that you showed
Yes.
us, that was actually like a Payne's gray, and you actually lifted it and brought it back into the bright green.
That's exactly
No
what I did.
kidding. Okay, now see,
That I could absolutely.
I mean,
To be honest with you, I did this a little different. I taped that off, painted the dark background, lifted the tape off,
Yeah.
and then put the green on top of it.
Okay.
And
Okay,
it
so you masked
sync-
it before you ever painted it.
Yes, but you could do this.
But you
I've
could
done
do
this. Look at this. Where basically, look, all I worked on was the edges,
right.
and I gave the impression of. Now back up. It looks like a tree.
Yes,
Tree.
a snow-covered tree.
But I
Oh
thought,
God, you're ripping that awful fast for me.
I know, I thought when you ripped that off, you were gonna have lines.
I'd be like,
I'm like, oh, this is a mistake, this is a mistake.
Slowly.
Wow.
So you come to my class, you're gonna learn all kinds of new techniques.
No kidding,
Wow,
Carrie,
I
I
love
mean,
the
that's kind of the
layers.
whole point.
That's a problem.
No, that's the good thing, because now we know how to fix something.
I'm not good with knives.
Well,
I'm not good with knives.
be careful.
That's all right,
We do not want
Mary.
anybody to like. Why is my painting red?
Take some of the grill paintings away. I just think.
It's just a technique.
Right,
It's just an option. So it is definitely something you can do as an option. So after we kind of to conclude our whole season, I think that's it for me. I think that painting
Looks
is
great.
ready for signature.
well, that's
I might do a little bit more work here to pull the. What I need is I might need to lighten up some of this around at the bottom to make the pole come out a little bit further. But I'm not gonna mess with it anymore today. I'm done. You can see how the forward elements got the dark elements help push everything to the back. You can see how the washes I did in the snow help pull you to the light. This is all Thomas
I'm not
Kinkade
gonna do that.
principles.
Yeah.
You know, of highlighting that house.
Take a picture of mine, just like a last.
Everybody have fun?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this was a good one.
Somebody, I would like to hear some. What do you feel like was the big thing you learned in this class, this 6 weeks?
Well, that last one was a little bit game changing.
That was good.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
okay.
I think I used the sponge for this too.
Right.
So hopefully what you did learn was low lights make highlights.
Right.
That's a big one. Hopefully what you did learn is you need to look at your composition and make choices about what's going to be foreground, midground, background. How are you going to differentiate them? What's going to be, and make that choice. Don't let the photo make it for you, right? You make the choice. You can always take something that was light in the photo and make it dark. You can always take something that was dark in the photo and make it light. Same thing in live, in real life. You know, you can do that too. Hopefully you learned, that this whole, I think we did the crow, we did this painting.
Yeah.
What else did we do?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the eye, yeah. We learned some new resource materials
Yes.
through AI.
Right.
And we definitely learned one of the things that we tried to go at was mixing elements from different photos, right? So pull in some different elements from different photos, giving you the option to create your own compositions.
Right.
Anything else that somebody would like to share about what you got out of it?
Well, and I mean, every time you show us paints and you show us the benefit, because we got some new colors.
Yep.
You know, it's hard to go to the store and just start buying little.
Yeah, it's
paint.
scary, right?
You're
Because
like, oh my God, how much do I need? So it was good to learn that you had found some that were successful. That was good. I use jadeite all the time now.
yeah,
I love jadeite.
it's one of my favorite greens for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the
Serpentine is one of my,
fabulous.
those two together are like my warm and cold greens, yeah.
Because I hated everything that I had before, so that was helpful to me.
That's
even.
good. What about you, Davis? Did you learn anything? Or what was your favorite part? If anything.
The bead.
The bead.
bead. Oh my God.
I beat the bead up, don't I? You know, I will say, I've been thinking about it.
Especially in this painting.
You can do great paintings without the bead. But I think having the bead in your arsenal
Yes.
gives you a lot more options. And you're right. I think the bead. Look at my sky. It sells it, right?